Creating content for platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts requires a different aspect ratio than traditional landscape clips. However, this doesn't mean that you have to lose quality or cut out important details. You're watching Shortinator, and in this video I'll show you step by step how to adjust the layout of your clips to make them fit the vertical format. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video because you don't want to miss any of the steps. I'm here in Premiere Pro, which is what I use for editing, and the first thing that I'm going to quickly cover is the most important tools and menus that you will need. This part will prove very useful later on in the video when I reference which tool to use, so don't skip ahead just yet. Down at the bottom left here, you will see a list of icons which all represent different tools. These three are probably the most useful to you. The first one is the selection tool. This will make your mouse act just like a normal mouse would. You can click to select things, drag to move things, and so on. The next one is the razor tool. With this tool selected, you can click on your timeline and it will create cuts on your clips, which you can use to chop up your clip and remove parts you don't want. The last one is the type tool. This tool lets you drag over an area on your video to create a text box, which you can then edit to say whatever you need. Over to the right of the screen now, you will see the effects tab. This is where you'll find things such as transitions and effects, which you will simply be able to drag and drop onto your clips. I'll be covering effects later in the video. This third and final menu I'll be showing you is the one on the left. It's the effects control panel and is where you can adjust certain aspects of your clip such as positioning, scale, and much more. Let's move on to the first step of reformatting our clips. The first step is to crop out our camera in order to separate it from the video. This may sound complicated, but I'll guide you the whole way through to make sure that you understand. Firstly, what we need to do is import our clip. Simply drag it from where you have it saved onto the timeline here. It should now appear nice and big in the program monitor. The next thing you're going to want to do is to mask out your camera. This can easily be done by clicking this button right here under opacity in the effects control panel. You can then drag out the corners to match the size of your camera. A helpful tip for this step is that you can zoom in more by selecting a percentage here, and then you can use these scroll bars to adjust your view. Now that you've done that, you should be able to see your camera and none of the other parts of the video. This is when you should add in an overlay of your username as a way for people to actually know who you are and where they can find you. By clicking on position in your effects control panel, you'll be able to move and resize any of your clips. If you want a tutorial on how to create a short animation like this, then please leave a comment down below and subscribe so you don't miss it. Now that you have this, you can simply select all of the clips on your timeline by clicking and dragging over them, right click it, and then select Nest. Congratulations, you now have your camera separated from your video. The next step in the process is to change our project into portrait mode and add our clip in behind our camera. If you've made it this far already, it should be smooth sailing from here on in, as the previous step was a lot more complicated. What you need to do now is right click on your sequence file, which you will find at the bottom left marked with this icon. Make sure that it isn't the sequence you just created. It will pop up a menu and you'll need to navigate your way to the sequence settings. Don't get too overwhelmed by the screen, as the only important part that we need to focus on is the frame size right here. Simply swap these two numbers around, hit OK, ignore the warning message, and wabam, as easy as that, you've made your project into portrait mode. Position your camera wherever you want it, and then drag your clip from the bottom left into the timeline again, and put it on a layer that is below your camera. Position it nicely, and you're done. But wait, before you go, here is one last tip for making your short look extra clean. By duplicating your clip using Alt Drag, you can put it behind the one you already have, make it bigger, head over to the Effects tab, and drag Gaussian Blur onto it. Then, on the Effect control panel, you can up the blur strength to about 30. Now look at that, isn't it beautiful? Here's what our clip now looks like. I recommend playing around with the layout until you find what suits you best. However, is the clip that you chose the perfect one for you to upload? Find out by watching this video here. If you learned something from this video, a like would be highly appreciated. If you have any questions or feedback, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.